like to express my gratitude to the organizers of this conference in Fresno for allowing me the luxury of staying home. You can tell I might have had a little cold here, but still being able to stay in touch with all of you through the magic of television and Skype. So I would like to share with you some of my recent experiences with regards to the world of vertical farming, to let you know what's on the near horizon for you, because I realize that a lot of you in the audience have dedicated at least a couple of days, and perhaps much more time than that, to exploring the possibility of becoming involved in urban agriculture. And I think that's a remarkable commitment on your part, and I commend you for it, and I respect you, and I want to tell you a story. That's basically what I live for now. I go around the world. Henry tells me what's going on, but I talk to people such as yourselves that are on the cusp of developing careers in urban agriculture, and in particular for vertical farming. So over the last 6 months, I've been privileged to go to some very exotic places, and one of them is Paris, France. So it's hard to believe that a city so committed to cuisines that the world respects and trusts as being derived from a culture which has lived off the land basically since Neanderthal times to today, has come to realize that the world is changing. And when the world changes, you have to change with it. And if you don't, you'll be left behind. So France, in general, realizes that climate change is having an impact on the food that they produce. And Paris, in specific, has taken up the challenge of introducing urban agriculture into its infrastructure. And I was at a meeting about 3 weeks ago in Paris to judge a competition much the same as you guys are participating in today, where real properties were up for grabs. The city of Paris bought these properties from the surrounding periphery of Paris itself and offered them free of charge to any group that could come up with a viable use for those properties. There were 36 altogether. And interestingly, they had 9 bullet points that these competitors had to address. And the one right in the middle of all of that was urban agriculture. So I was stunned to see how accepting not only the mayor of Paris, but also the people that live there, of the technology that can produce food on demand, 24 hours a day, 52 weeks out of the year, and it's delicious and nutritious, et cetera, et cetera. They don't have to ask those questions. I know you've probably been asked those questions by a lot of your friends. Is it really good for you? Is it produced properly, et cetera, et cetera? The city of Paris is convinced that this is their future. So they're about to have a workshop very similar to the one you're participating in right now for the general public within Paris to see how many people really think that they want to get involved in making this happen. That's point number one. Point number two is the city of Seoul in Korea has a similar take on urban agriculture. And they got that way by inviting experts from the FAO, for instance, and other walks of life. I was privileged to be one of those people too. So back in 2009, I was invited to the Seoul Digital Forum to give a talk, and I gave my talk, and so did Carrie Fowler. Carrie Fowler talked about developing seed banks, and I talked about vertical farms. They invited me back 2 years later in 2011, and I actually didn't want to go because I thought I'd already gone there. Why would I want to go again? It's a long trip from where I live. But I went, and I was stunned to see that the country of South Korea had built a seed bank to house all of the plant species of South Korea. And they built a vertical farm next to it so that if the seeds were in doubt as to whether they were fertile or not, they could take them next door to the vertical farm and try them out. Today, the mayor of Seoul has announced, actually not today, it was several months ago, that they now want to insinuate vertical farming on every rooftop possible throughout the entire city of Seoul, Korea. That's 36 million people that live in that city. By the way, it's an enormous city. Think of all the jobs that will generate for those people. And so what I want to say to you finally is that this is a technology that has grown up and has come of age, so to speak, within a very short period of time. And you are the future of this movement. Your projects will go on. I'm sure some of them will actually be done. I'm sure most of you will develop a passion for this, which you will refuse to take no for an answer, just like Henry, just like Max, just like myself. And you will become part of a movement which will revolutionize the way people look at their food. The other effect you will have is, of course, you will allow drought-stricken California to finally have food that it trusts, that it can rely on, and that doesn't require a lot of water, and it doesn't require a lot of resources. This can be done very simply, as you know. The technologies are not difficult. It's getting people to agree to do them, I think, that's the most difficult part of what you're doing. So in summary, because I don't want to take up most of your time, I can only say that I'm an honoree of your group. I'm privileged to be part of it. I will continue to spread the word as you see fit, and I will tell your story. So good luck tonight with your projects. I don't think anybody sitting there loses. Okay, there are no clear winners in this one. I can guarantee that because I've participated in several of these workshops already. It's very, very difficult to decide who has the better project. And in fact, I think all of them have some validity, otherwise you wouldn't be considered. So you have my best wishes for continued success. I look forward to meeting a lot of you, who knows where and who knows when, but certainly I'll be available for the next, I'll try to stay alive long enough to see this happen in every city throughout the world. So thank you very much for asking me to say a few words.
Thanks, Dickson.